All right. So we got the recording going. Shalom, everyone. I'm Brother Doug with the Waking by Yahuwah Fellowship Group. I'm with my sisters Marissa Brown and Sadia Espinoza today. We're going to be doing Exodus chapter 5 and on. We'll see if we get to chapter 6 or not, but there's actually going to be a decent amount in chapter 5 here. So here we go. I'll be reading from the Septuagint on my word software, and I'll probably be checking with one or all of the Targums to see if there's any huge differences. So here we go. Chapter 5 of Exodus from the Brenton Septuagint. And after this went in Masha and Aaron to Pharaoh, and they said to him, "These things says Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal, send my people away that they may keep a feast to me in the wilderness." And Pharaoh said, "Who is he that I should hearken to his voice, so that I should send away the children of Yasharal? I do not know Yahuwah, and I will not let Yasharal go." Now, this verse, I want to look at the Targums, because there's definitely a little bit more than this in the Targums. So I want to look into that. So I'm going to go to my Kindle here. Yeah, that's the mitzvahs to try to help myself remember the commandments. Okay. All right. Let's see here. People's Parallel Bible. Here we go. All right. Come on. Come on, Kindle. There we go. All right, to make it quicker here, I'll go to the table of contents, Exodus, click on that. All right. Chapter 5, verse 2. Here we go. And Pharaoh said, "The name of Yahuwah is not made known to me that I should receive his word to release Yasharal. I have not found written in the book of the eagles the name of Yahuwah, of him I am not afraid, neither will I release Yasharal." So here we go. We got angel worship all the way back to Egypt. We got Gnosticism all the way back into Egypt. Okay. So obviously, there's nothing new under the sun. Uh, the Egyptians only knew about the Malachim, which makes sense. What happened in Genesis 6? Okay, you had the Watchers, the Watchers were worshipped by the majority of mankind. So, the Egyptians carried that religion all the way past the Tower of Babel. I'm pretty sure the Babylonians did the same. Vice versa, many different cultures worship the angels instead of the creator. So that's pretty much what Pharaoh's excuse is. I don't know the name of Yahuwah. His name is not written in the book of the angels. So we see here already a difference in worship in the culture of the Hebrews, worshiping the one true Elohim versus the polytheism of Egypt, of this Egyptian Pharaoh, even though there wasn't polytheism before him in the days of Joseph. So very interesting. So I feel like the Targum of Jonathan gives a little insight why he didn't know Yahuwah's name and he didn't fear him. So anyway, I'm just kind of curious what the Jerusalem one has to say, if there's any differences there. But to me, that helps a lot to understand why he says, who is Yahuwah that I should heed to him or fear him. Okay. Oh yeah. So that's omitted. All right. What about the Unkalos one? I just want to see if there's anything important. Okay. Yeah. The name of Yahuwah is not known to me that I should hearken to his word to send Yasharal away. The name of Yahuwah is not revealed to me, and Yasharal I shall not release. Okay. Kind of weird. The name of Yahuwah is not revealed to him, even though they're using Yahuwah's name when they're talking to Pharaoh. Yeah, I don't know about that. I kind of go with the Targum a little bit more. that it's more about fear than knowing Yahuwah's name. It's more about not fearing him, which is very bad, by the way. It's very foolish. Verse 3, and they say to him, the Elohim of the Hebrews has called us to him. We will go there for a 3 days journey. What do you know? 3 days. Yahusha was in the grave 3 days, or he resurrected on the third day. Interesting. Into the wilderness that, and I mean, if you think about it too, Sheol's like a type of wilderness, isn't it? You know, if you think about it, you know, sometimes in scripture, the barren land refers to Sheol or the pit, you know, that we may sacrifice to Yahuwah our Elohim lest any time death or slaughter happen to us. So they're saying, you know what? We fear Yahuwah. You might not fear Yahuwah, but we fear our Heavenly Father. And if we don't obey him, something bad might happen to us. So, and the king of Egypt said to them, why do you, Moshe and Aaron, turn the people from their works? Depart each of you to your works. So pretty much the Pharaoh's like, he's playing the game of distraction, misdirection. You could say the same game Satan does. You know, stop making them not work for me. You know, it's all about work. You know, same thing with Constantine. Oh, don't be idle on the Sabbath day. If you're idle on the Sabbath day, you know, you're going to be put to death. So same type of spirit going on here. You could say a Daniel 7, chapter 7, verse 25 type of spirit. He would, you know, attempt to change times and laws and all that. So this king of Egypt does not want them to serve Yahuwah. He does not want them to depart the slave labor he has going for them, which will probably happen in the end times. You know, this is going to be something very similar that we're going to be dealing with in the end times. The elitists that run this world don't want Yahuwah's people to be free to serve Yahuwah. So don't be surprised. This is actually very, very applicable to the time period we're going through right now. So anyway, verse 5, and Pharaoh said, behold, now the people is very numerous. Let us not then give them rest from their work. And Pharaoh gave orders to the taskmasters of the people and the accountants, saying, you shall no longer give straw to the people for brick making as yesterday and the third day, but let them go themselves and collect straw for themselves, and you shall impose on them daily the rate of brick making which they perform. You shall not abate everything, meaning do not diminish from it, for they are idle. What did I just say that Constantine would say? Don't be idle on the Sabbath day. Yeah. Same type of spirit, same type of antichrist spirit. Therefore have they cried, saying, let us arise and do sacrifice to our Elohim. Let the works of these men be made grievous, and let them care for these things and not care for vain words. What does John say about Yahuwah's commandments? They are not grievous. We know that we love Yahuwah. We know that we truly love Yahuwah. We love, let me see if I can find that verse, because that's a pretty interesting parallel there. We know we love the children of Yahuwah when we love Yahuwah and obey his commands. I think it's 1 John chapter 5. Yeah. 1 John chapter 5, verse 2. Okay, so again, his commandments are not grievous, but what this Pharaoh is trying to make them do is grievous. So we left off at Exodus 5:9. I'll just remember that. But I do want to bring up 1 John 5:2 on the shared screen here. So I think this is a good cross-reference here. 1 John 5:2. Because of this, we know that we selflessly love Yahuwah's children when we selflessly love Yahuwah and do his commandments. For this is selfless love for Yahuwah, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. Okay? Not a burden. For any Christian that might be watching that has been taught that his law is a burden, it's not a burden. Okay? According to the New Testament, it's not a burden. Okay? All right, so now we're going to go back to Exodus chapter 5, off of that little rabbit trail, but it was needed to show the difference between Satan's laws, the laws that we've been indoctrinated to are actually burdens, and Yahuwah's law is freedom. Okay, see here. Let the works of the not care for vain words. So according to Pharaoh, it's vain words to go worship Yahuwah. Doesn't that sound familiar? It's vain to keep the Father's commandments. Sounds a lot like Christianity. So.
Yeah, they say that we cannot keep them all. So it's too hard to keep the 10 Commandments. I don't see anything hard about it. It does remind us to be very kind and gracious to our neighbors, to not, we learn a depthness of it, which is, come on, how are you going to go murder? You know when you're gossiping. You know when you're being mean to somebody. You know when you're looking at somebody else's wife, or you're being a pig yourself. Those things, it doesn't take as much as scientists to figure those things out. If you think those things are hard not to do, then you're right. You just stay right where you're at and don't change.
Yeah, I'll tell you what is vain. Going and spending a whole paycheck to buy things that your family members don't need on December 25th. That's vanity. Trying to earn your family members' love by lavishing them with gifts that are completely materialistic. That's vanity. If you want to talk about vanity. Celebrating the day of the Easter Bunny and trying to plaster Jesus's resurrection on the day of the Easter Bunny and Ishtar, that's vanity. Okay, that if we really want to get to the core of what Yahuwah considers vanity, that's vanity. That's vain. Okay, it's useless. That's why Jeremiah in prophecy says, the Gentiles in that day will come and seek Yahuwah and say, our fathers have inherited vain things, falsehood. According to the Father, falsehood is vanity. Lies are vanity. So when if you think about it, you tell your child that Santa Claus is real and this and that, that's vanity. Why? Because you're lying. That's vanity. And the fact that it's another God. You're having your child sit on the lap of another God, literally. And I know it's not the popular message, but that's the truth. That's the truth about it.
Brother, also what people say is that you're robbing your child or your children of the fun, the fun of Christmas. You're being a humbug. You're being a Grinch. But you know what? That's all a lie, because what you're doing is you're setting your children up. You're actually already indoctrinating them to believe a lie.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah. You're lying to your children. That's all you're doing. And you're, spiritually speaking, you're giving your child a Molech spiritually. Because if you do your research, you find out where Santa Claus comes from, that he goes all the way back to Odin. Okay. That would have been another name for Molech, Baal. Okay. So that, spiritually speaking, it's bad. Spiritually speaking, you're giving your children to Molech. So anyway, but let's get back to this chapter here, verse 10. And the taskmasters and the accounts hastened to them. They spoke to Pharaoh, saying, thus says Pharaoh, I give you straw no longer. Go you yourselves, get for yourselves straw whensoever you can find it, for nothing is diminished from your rate. So the people were dispersed in all the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw. And the taskmasters hastened them, saying, fulfill your regular daily task, even as when straw was given you. And the accountants of the ethnicity of the children of Yashrael, who were sent over them by the masters of Pharaoh, were scourged, saying, why have you not fulfilled your rates of brick work as yesterday and the third day, today also? I'll explain why, even though it says race here, I put ethnicity. If you look in the Greek, where they translated in the English as race, deceptively, is actually ethnos. Okay. So all the children of Yasharel are an ethnicity. They're one ethnicity in a way because they're all related. So they're ethnicity. Okay. Today also, okay, so it talks about the third day, yesterday and the third day. And the accounts of the children of Yashrael went in and cried to Pharaoh, saying, why did you act thus to your servants? Straw is not given to your servants. And tell us to make brick, and behold, your servants have been scourged. You will therefore injure your people. Again, this is something that's actually later on given as a commandment of Torah. Speaking of Torah here, what does it say? Do not scourge your brother more than 40 lashes, if I'm not mistaken. There's an actual specific amount. We're not supposed to scourge our brother who has sinned. And if we do more than 40 lashes, we are putting our brother to shame. We're putting reproach on him. Which I wonder how many lashes they put on Yahusha. I wonder if they broke that. I wonder if they sinned and broke that. I would not be surprised, because the Pharisees, they wanted to pick and choose what commandments they wanted to keep. So here we go. Scourge, saying, why have you not fulfilled? Why do you act thus to your servants? Straw is not given to your servants, and they tell us to make brick, and behold, your servants have been scourged. You will therefore injure your people. And he said to them, you are idle. Again, idle. You are idlers. Therefore you say, let us go and do sacrifice to our Elohim. Man, this was like Constantine before there was a Constantine. I swear. He uses the word idle more than Constantine did. Now then, go and work, for straw shall not be given to you. Yet you shall return the rate of bricks. And the accounts of the children of Yasharal saw themselves in an evil plight, saying, you shall not fail to deliver the daily rate of the brick making. And they met Moshe and Aaron from forth to meet them, as they came forth from Pharaoh, and they said to them, Yahuwah look upon you and judge you, for you have made our savor abominable before Pharaoh and before his servants, to put a sword into his hands to slay us. And Moshe turned to Yahuwah and said, I pray, Yahuwah, why have you afflicted this people, and wherefore have you sent me? For from the time that I went to Pharaoh to speak in your name, people that want to say Yahuwah's name's not important, to speak in your name. Hold on. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Stupid thing. All right, so we were at verse 23. My bad, guys. My stupid program just closed out. It started to glitch a little bit. Okay, so all right, so I'll just continue on eSword here. That's what I'll do. I don't want to waste too much time. So we were at verse 23 of Exodus 5. So again, the importance of his name. Moshe spoke in Yahuwah's name. Okay, so here we go. For from the time that I went to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has afflicted this people, and you have not delivered your people. So that's the end of chapter 5. As you can see here, they are pretty much being afflicted by Pharaoh, heavy labor on them. That's the term of afflicted. We're seeing afflicted now in society being loosely used for the situation that's going on in the world right now. That's affliction, all right? You want to talk about oppression, affliction, that's affliction. You know, the physical slavery and hard slave labor they were going through, that's oppression. That's affliction, okay? So anyway, let's go to shared screen here. I'm going to go back on Kindle and just want to check something when it talks about the scourges. I kind of wonder if it's more specific in the Targum why they're saying why are you acting so harshly with your servants. I want to kind of see here. Okay, make us bricks. Okay, the masters Pharaoh set over the sons, smote them. Okay, all right. Okay, the people were scattered among the country of Mitzrayim. Yes, masters, make bricks therefore yesterday. You have given your servants no straw, yet they say to us, make bricks, and behold, your servants are beaten, and your people sin against us. But he said, you are idle, therefore you say, we will go and sacrifice before Yahuwah. Now go work, but straw I will not give them number of bricks. Okay. And the overseers of the sons of Yasharal perceived that they were an evil, for they said to them, you shall not diminish form your bricks the matter of day and a day. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to check that. Because sometimes there will be stuff like that the Targums have that the Septuagint doesn't. So sometimes I like to see if there's a little bit added info historically. Let's see here.
Brother, is the Targums more like a commentary?
Especially the Jonathan one is like a combined. It's like commentary, and scripture combined, you could say. Like it will expound upon the verse. There will be commentary in the verse instead of having it in footnotes. That's like the main difference of the Jonathan one versus.
Okay, kind of like the NIV.
It's kind of like how the NLT will have stuff in the footnotes, or any study Bible you have has stuff in the footnotes. Instead of having footnotes, they have the footnotes actually in the verse combined with the actual scripture. So say it's,
excellent.
Yeah, so it's kind of like combined. Basically what Jonathan ben Uziel does, he, according to what I've read up on the Targum of Jonathan, he basically takes historical commentary that would have been legit. It's not like actually fibbing or anything. He's using historical commentary and putting it into the verse. So that's why, like, the serpents, when they saw the serpents that were the staffs that were turned into serpents, instead of saying serpents, they put basilisks, because basilisks is probably what they were at that time. They were not just regular snakes. When Moses's staff turned into a serpent. So he uses like historical information to kind of paraphrase sometimes also, instead of just saying serpent. So. But yeah, so I'm trying to see here. But you said you are idle, therefore you are saying, let us go. And okay, that's pretty much word for word the same. Go work, but the straw shall not be given to you. Numbers shall not produce. Okay. Yeah, I really don't see anything added here, so there's nothing really different. Okay, you have given your servants straw. You make bricks. And behold, they beat your servants. Okay. But I noticed the difference is it says beat your servants instead of scourge. I kind of like scourge a little bit better because that connects with the story of Yahusha, how he was scourged with lashes. So I kind of wonder if there was like they were transgressing that commandment later on that we see in the Torah, where it says don't scourge your brother more than 40 times. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to bring up. I think everything else is self-explanatory. Pharaoh doesn't want them to serve Yahuwah. He doesn't want them to go to the wilderness. He's not letting them go. He's taking away their straw, so it's harder for them to make brick and mortar, for their slave labor. Their taskmasters are treating them unfairly, which I think is another commandment in the Torah. You are not to treat your slave harshly, your servant harshly. Okay. So again, we see some little hints at the commandments of the Torah of Masha before it's given, that these are just things that were previously in Yahuwah's law, probably all the way from the garden, probably. I mean, this would have been common stuff that they would have understood. The Hebrews would have understood. You don't treat your servant unfairly. You don't give lashes to a person more than 40 times. I mean, this is just common sense. But anyway, so let's go to chapter 6. I think chapter 5 was pretty much self-explanatory unless anyone has anything to add. I mean, pretty much we dissected that as much as possible, I think. So, see here. Chapter 6 says, and Yahuwah said to Moshe, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh, for he shall send them forth with a mighty hand. I wonder who the mighty hand he is talking about is. And with a high arm shall he cast them out of his land. And Elohim spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am Yahuwah. Now, this is where it gets tricky here, and I see a lot of Christians and even people in Hebrew roots trying to twist this concept. Okay, if you look, this verse is translated differently almost in every version of the Torah. So this is where it gets tricky and where you need multiple witnesses. Okay, what I will say is the majority of the time is that Yahuwah says here that he manifested his name to them, but he did not manifest his name to them? Like, let me show you in the ISR 1998. It says, and this is Masoretic text, mind you. It says, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as Elohim Almighty, and by my name Yahuwah was I not known to them? So there you have it as a rhetorical question. The Septuagint, the way it's translated into English, makes it look like he never manifested his name to him, which I disagree with. I can find tons of scriptures in the Septuagint of Genesis. Genesis comes before Exodus, right? Okay, that Yahuwah manifested his name to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So to me, I think this is a translator issue. I think this is a bias of an English translator, most likely. But the Bren's English Septuagint says, and I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, being their Elohim, but I did not manifest to them my name Yahuwah. Now, the only thing that would make sense to me, which the Jerusalem Targum actually touches on, it's not talking about Yahuwah's name that wasn't manifested, but Yahusha's name wasn't manifested. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the only way I would agree over our modern English translation of the Septuagint over the Masoretic text in this verse, is if this was actually referring to Yahusha's name not being revealed, which would make sense because his name in Scripture is not revealed until the book of Zechariah. The name that the Messiah would be called by was not revealed until the book of Zechariah. So Exodus 6:3 in the Jerusalem Targum, which, mind you, I honestly believe this is like the oldest Targum. This probably goes all the way back to the Babylonian captivity, and that's probably why there's a lot of fragments in it. It's very fragmented. There's a lot of omitted verses in this Targum, but it does have verse 3 here. It says, and Yahuwah was revealed in his word, meaning in Yahusha, unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and Jacob as the Elohim of heaven. But the name of the word of Yahuwah was not known to them, which makes perfect sense. We don't know Yahusha's name until when? Like Zechariah 6? I mean, to me, that makes sense. They knew Yahusha as the word of Yahuwah. They never knew him as, they never knew him as Yahusha the Messiah. They never knew him as, what name he would be given. Or you could even say they didn't actually know his name. They kind of probably assumed that, it was Yahuwah, and not realizing that it was this person who is Yahusha. So I think that makes a lot more sense in my opinion. But anyway, so we're going to move on here. That's my interpretation of it. I think it's actually talking about the name of Yahusha was not revealed to them. Where are you going?
I'm just going to get a breakfast sandwich and to no, I still have. I'll be back, okay?
All right, Mom. So anyway, sorry about that. And I established my covenant with them to give them the land of the Canaanites. The land, notice how it says, I established my covenant with them to give them United States of America, the land of the Canaanites, the land wherein they sojourn. So every time you see in the Torah, it says, when you enter the land that I am about to give you, context, okay? He's only given his people one land, the land of the Canaanites, okay? We are not in that land right now. That's very important to understand. Wherein they sojourned, in which also they dwelt as strangers, and I hearkened to the groaning of the children of Yasharel, the affliction with which the Egyptians enslaved them, and I remembered the covenant with you. Go speak to the children of Yasharel, saying, I am Yahuwah, and I will lead you forth from the I really like how Breton has here, the tyranny of the Egyptians. And I will deliver you from bondage, and I will ransom you with a high arm. Who ransomed us on the stake? Who ransomed us? With whose blood was given a ransom for our soul? Yahusha. And great judgment. Yahusha is going to be the judge, the white throne judgment. Okay. And I will take you to me a people for myself, and I will be your Elohim, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, who brought you out from the tyranny of the Egyptians. And I will bring you into the land concerning which I stretched out my hand to give it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you for inheritance. I am Yahuwah. And Masha spoke thus to the sons of Yashar'al, and they hearkened not to Moses for faint-heartedness and for their hard tasks. Okay. And Yahuwah spoke to Masha, saying, go in, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he send forth the children of Yashar'al out of his land. And Masha spoke before Yahuwah, saying, behold, the children of Yashar'al hearken not to me, and how shall Pharaoh hearken to me? And I am not eloquent. Oh my goodness, here we go. Excuses. Here we go, and we can all relate to this. Oh, I'm not a good speaker. I'm not a public speaker. Verse 13. And Yahuwah spoke to Masha and Aaron, and gave them a charge to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he should send forth the children of Yashar'al out of the land of Egypt. the genealogy of Moshe and Aaron. So now we're getting into a genealogy here of the lineage of Aaron and Moshe. So now we're going to get like the whole Levitical stuff here. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, sis.
Okay, so I heard that, I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, in the book of Jasher, it talks about the reason why Moses was unable to speak. Is it true that he had something put on his tongue that burnt it in the book of Jasher, and that's why he was slow of speech and unable to speak? Because first it said he stuttered, so I just want to make sure that the information is accurate. Something in regards to something hot put on his lip or his tongue that burnt it in the book of Jasher.
Yeah, before I teach that as doctrine, I would want a second witness for that. I know you're not trying to teach it as doctrine. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I'm not going to teach that until I get a second witness for Jasher, because there are some things in Jasher that are contradictions, especially with the genealogies, like what we're about to get into right now. If you look at the Table of Nations, Genesis 10, and compare it to the book of Jasher when they got the genealogies after the flood, and even the genealogies from Adam all the way to Noah, the years of the people contradict the Masoretic text. They contradict the Septuagint, and I think even the Samaritan Pentateuch they contradict. So to me, Jasher is not automatically authoritative. This is my opinion. I would have to find it in one of the Targums. If it is authoritative, I think Jonathan Ben Uziel would use that in a commentary. So I'll look into that if that's the case. I'll look into that and see if any of the Targums would have a second witness to that. From the way the Septuagint has it worded, it has nothing to do with him having a burdened tongue. From what I'm seeing here, it's more of he just is not a good speaker. He says, I am not eloquent, meaning I'm not a good speaker. Like, I'm not a public speaker. I don't, and that same word is used when Yahuwah first tells him to go be the mouthpiece in Exodus chapter 3. That same Greek word is used. So I think it's not that his tongue was hurt. It was more of he just is not a good speaker. He was afraid. And
Or he just didn't want to do it. He just didn't want to do it.
Sometimes we do that with Yahuwah. We're like afraid and we're like, I'm not a good public speaker, and then so Yahuwah chooses Aaron. He's like, all right, you don't want to speak? Fine. I'm going to choose your brother. He's not going to go tick for tat with Moses. He's like, all right, you don't want to speak? Fine. I'll choose your brother who can speak well. So I think the context is more of he's just afraid, really. It's just, he's afraid and he feels like he can't speak that well. But verse 14 here, we start with the genealogies, and we'll see some interesting common names here. So, and these are the heads of the houses of their families, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Yasharel, Enoch, and Phalis, and Azron, and Carmi. This is the kindred of Reuben. So that's interesting. We got another Enoch here, even after the Enoch, the two Enochs in Genesis. So there's another righteous Enoch that's of Reuben's line. Very interesting. The sons of Simeon, Yemuel and Yamin, and Yaor and Aod, and Yakin and Saar, and Shaul, the son of a Phoenician woman. So to me, this is interesting because we just read in chapter 5, right? The Hebrews are all one ethnicity, right? But look at this. There's a son of a Phoenician woman. I'm just saying, the fullness of the Gentiles. I'm just saying, you got multitudes of different within the Israelite lineage back then. There's Gentiles that are actually physically part of their lineage. A Phoenician is like another word for Babylonian. Okay, so you actually have other ethnicities within their ethnicity. So the mixing of Yasharal goes all the way back to Exodus 6, you could say, or Exodus 5. So the mixing within the Gentiles genetically. So these are the families of the sons of Simeon. So Simeon had a Phoenician in his line. Just saying. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their kindreds: Gedson, Ka'ah, Merari. The years of the life of Levi were 137. Wow. Yeah, Levi, he was definitely a pretty righteous guy if he's living that long after the flood. You'll see that even Moses doesn't live that long. So, verse 17, and these are the sons of Gedson, Lobani, and Shemai, the houses of their family, and the sons of Ka'ath, and Abram, and Issachar, and Hebron, and Uziel. And the years of the life of Ka'ath were 137 years. Now, I just want to see who Ka'ath is, because the Greek here sometimes trips me up. Yeah, Kehath. Okay. Uziel. That's kind of funny. The author of the Targum of Jonathan, his last name is Uziel, so that's kind of interesting. I guess that name carried on all the way through, even into you could say early 1st century AD. They were still using that last name. So it says the sons of Merari, Muli, and Musi. These are the houses of the families of Levi according to their kindreds. And Abram took wife Jochebed, the daughter of his father's brother. Okay, the daughter of his father's brother. So the daughter of his uncle, you could say. And she bore to him both Aaron. Oh, no, this is not. This is Amram. Okay, so there's a B in Amram. That's interesting. The Septuagint, this is not talking about Abraham. I just want to, yeah, so this is talking about Amram, their Moshe and Aaron's father, took to wife the daughter of his father's brother. So the daughter of his uncle. So you kind of see it's not direct brother and sister anymore. It's kind of evolving into a more of like a second, third cousin type of thing, where it's not like a directual. You can kind of see incest is kind of getting done away with now. And we're not even at the law of Moses yet, where the first commandment of not to marry your brother or sister gets actually put in. But you can already see they're starting to go away from the direct sibling marriages. They're going to like second and third cousins. Okay, so, and the years of the life of Amram were 132 years. And the sons of Issachar, Kor, and Napheth, and Zechri, and the sons of Uziel, Misael, and Elisaphan, and Segri. And Aaron took to himself to wife Elizabeth, daughter of Aminadab, sister of Naasan, and she bore to him both Nadab and Abihu, and Eleazar and Ithamar. And the sons of Kor, Isir and Elkanah and Albiasar. These are the generations of Korah. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, took to himself a wife, one of the daughters of Putiel. She bore to him Phinehas. These are the heads of the family of the Levites according to their generations. This is Aaron and Masha's. Hold on. This is Aaron and Masha, whom Elohim told to bring out the children of Yasharel out of the land of Egypt with their forces. These are they that spoke with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and Aaron himself and Masha brought out the children of Yasharel from the land of Egypt. So here we go. In the day in which Yahuwah spoke to Masha in the land of Egypt, when Yahuwah spoke to Masha, saying, I am Yahuwah, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, whatsoever I say to you. And Masha said before Yahuwah, behold, I am not able in speech. How shall Pharaoh hearken to me? So again, Masha's just making excuses here. He's afraid. He doesn't want to do it. So, anyway, so that was the end of Exodus chapter 6. Very interesting chapter. You got some genealogies here. You can kind of see where this is going to lead. We had Eleazar's lineage and the Levite lineage and all that. And so, as I said before, what I'm noticing is there's no more direct brother and sister marriages anymore. Now it's like second and third cousins. They're kind of spreading out. They're not keeping the lineage as tight as before, which I think is kind of interesting. We found out in this chapter that Simeon had a Phoenician descendant. So I thought that was interesting. So anything my brothers and sisters want to add? I know pretty much we just have my sisters here today, but I usually say that in general. I'm so used to saying that. So I don't know if any of my sisters want to add anything maybe that came to their mind. I know our sister Josie kind of came in late, so she might have not heard the whole chapter. So we did
Yeah.
yeah.
Shalom, I just got on.
Shalom. So we just did Exodus 6, sister. We just I kind of just read through here on the recording here, and so so pretty much I was just going through that chapter. We were just finishing up our Torah study. So
Okay.
so yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Simeon having a Phoenician descendant, and it was very interesting because that means that they were mixed all the way back then. So it's very interesting when you look into the genealogies of like Ephraim. Ephraim had the Egyptian mother. It's very interesting because the fullness of the Gentiles are supposed to go into Ephraim. So it's very interesting. Seems like there was mixing going on even back then, which is pretty interesting. So
You said Exodus 6, Doc?
yeah, Exodus chapter 6 we just went through.
Okay.
So I touched on also Exodus 6:3 that I know some people think this means that Yahuwah never revealed his name before then, but I disagree. I think translators translate that into English a certain way to make people think that, and the majority of the time it says, "Have I not revealed my name to them?" So was I not known to them by the name Yahuwah? So I think actually it's referring that Yahuwah revealed his name to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and actually they knew his name, and probably somehow, from that time until now, somehow they forgot his name or something. Somehow I guess under this other Pharaoh, they stopped worshiping Yahuwah to a certain extent. I don't know, because it's just very interesting to me. Masha asked him, who am I to tell them that sent you? Like Masha doesn't even know his name. So it's like very weird. It's kind of like they kind of, went a little bit to the left and to the right. They didn't stay on the narrow path that Joseph had them on. And so I kind of wonder what happened there. The Hebraic Roots Bible even says the thought in the Hebrew is not that Abraham never heard the name of Yahuwah, but that Yahuwah revealed himself to Abraham as Elohim Almighty. However, now he was revealing himself by his family name of Yahuwah, the all-existent one. Okay, I can kind of see where that commentary is going. Okay, I can kind of see that. But again, that and I've done a video on this on the YouTube channel. Anyone that's interested, is called "Did Yahuwah not reveal his name to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?" And I believe Genesis gives us the answer of he did. There's multiple witnesses that Jacob knew his name, Isaac knew his name, Abraham knew his name. I think, like I said before, I really think this verse, just like the verse in Revelations when it talks about the day of Yahuwah, how it gets mistranslated as the Lord's Day, it gets reversed as the Lord's Day to try to put in a doctrine that, John got, lifted up into the spirit, on the Lord's Day, on Resurrection Day. I think the same thing happened with this verse with some English translators. They just want to try to translate it to make it look like Yahuwah never revealed his name up until that point. So, and, I think that's what really happened because, I showed earlier in the Jerusalem Targum, it actually says that he did not, the name of the word of Yahuwah, which would have been, Yahusha, was not revealed to them. So, either I kind of interpreted from the Jerusalem Targum of that verse that it's Yahusha's name that wasn't revealed to mankind, and which would make sense because, usually in the Targums it will say the word of Yahuwah. It will never say who the word of Yahuwah is. It just says the word of Yahuwah spoke to them. The word of Yahuwah made mankind in his image. It never actually says who the word of Yahuwah is usually, and so I feel like that revelation of Yahusha Messiah, the name Yahusha being given to the word of Yahuwah wasn't really revealed to mankind until, pretty much until the time of Zechariah when they're prophesying the name of Messiah. So that's how I interpret that from the Targum. I actually think the Targum of the Jerusalem Targum, in my opinion, has it the best way, translated the best way. It's very possible it could be referring to Yahusha's name and not Yahuwah's name, which would fix a contradiction where you see all over in Genesis, Yahuwah's, revealing himself personally to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I think multiple times actually to Abraham saying, I am Yahuwah. So that's kind of my opinion on that, but anyway, so I think that's all I really had to add. Just wanted to thank everyone who joined us for this great study we had today. And if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to reach out to us. We're the Waken by Yahuwah Fellowship Group. Please feel free. If you want to personally message any one of us, feel free. So we can be found on Facebook. We have a group page called the Awakened by Yahuwah Assembly and Yahuwah Almighty and Yahusha Messiah page on Facebook. And I just want to give a shout out to all the people that have liked our page. We now have 638 likes on our group page. And I really want to thank all of our brothers and sisters for showing their support for us, for liking that page and getting it more exposure out there on Facebook. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us. I appreciate all the listeners and viewers tuning in for this long. So thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, guys. To all of our brothers and sisters, have a great rest of your day. Shalom. All right. Let's see here. Okay.